Greetings, members one and all of the Salivation Nation. Why I don't buy the U.S. Mint's silver shortage excuse. Let's explore. For those who aren't aware, I posted a video earlier today regarding the news that broke overnight about the delay of ordering the rest of the 2021 Morgan dollars and the 2021 silver peace dollars that everyone was very excited about, that are collectors in the community, about getting these. Many of us were baffled about the pre-orders and how long it would take for them to actually ship out. It wasn't going to be until October. But some of us could understand why, considering that there has been a great demand for silver out there. And even in a story from Coin World, David Ryder had mentioned about the challenge that they were going to have on securing sufficient planchets and to coordinate output from 3 separate production facilities in 3 different states. So I can understand it. But this is something they could have planned for quite a while, even before these came out, and it could have helped shape the actual mintage numbers of these. And by the way, the mintages and how these things are played out are very confusing, because we're showing product limits, not mintage limits, on the website and on the mailing that we got for the collector's guide. It talks about not these mintages, or it talks about these in terms of the mintage limit, not necessarily a product limit. So there's a little confusion. They've not done a very good job in communicating. And I believe that their statement that they released regarding the global silver shortage is just another example of miscommunication. And but I believe they're covering that, covering their incompetency with these orders. And I'm having a stronger view on this now, as I like to be as forgiving as possible, or as understanding, really, to an extent. And sure, we can forgive if they apologize, which they've repeatedly done for many years when these issues occur. And they say they're going to fix them, but some unforeseen incident occurs that they don't anticipate. That means they have to apologize again with each one of these highly anticipated releases. But I went and did a little digging around, and why would they choose product limits instead of mintage limits if they were having a hard time securing planchets from 3 different production facilities in 3 different states? Well, the silver squeeze has been on since about the end of January, but in reality, there's been a silver squeeze. And by the way, I define that silver squeeze as squeezing the retail market for bullion. And that's really what it's about. It's about bullion. And now planchets are essentially blanks that are used to strike these, and those are produced in other facilities, as mentioned, as we all mostly understand. Securing those from contracts is a process that is that the United States Mint is familiar with, and they've done that for many, many years. This is nothing new. And by the way, as an example, as we may remember, some of us in the community, in 2009, when the United States Mint produced silver eagles to demand, because there was a great demand for silver during that time after the financial crisis. So because of all of the time and energy it took just to keep up with the demand of the silver eagles, they did not produce any proof versions. That's the only year that happened. Now, this is a different situation, because this is a legislated demand from Congress. In other words, by law, the United States Mint is required to strike these collector versions of these classic coins, the Morgan and peace dollars that you see here. And it's going to be very interesting to see what they look like. As a collector, I'm curious. I was fortunate to be able to place an order at the time that they were released in spite of the website issues, which is really the crux of the problem, is their incompetency on handling these orders on their web page. Now, other people will say, yeah, other places have had issues too when there's great demand for products, and I don't think there's really any way to solve it. But I think there is some solutions out there. And I don't think if the Mint realizes this, if didn't realize this, that they would put out a statement that they have pretty much with every release, that there's been issues, and they admit to the problem. But in this way, they're conflating it to a silver shortage. Well, here's another reason why I don't buy the silver shortage excuse. If you look at the text of the actual law, which was signed by President Donald J. Trump on the 5th of January of this year, 2021, this act, which is Public Law number 116-286, is now law. Nowhere in that legislation does it call for a product limit or a mintage limit. And if you think about it, what are those mintage? Let's say the mintage is limited to 175,000 for each of these variations of the Morgan dollar, which I'll get to in a moment, because that's another interesting aspect of this compared to the peace dollars. Well, for each variation of the Morgan dollar, which there's going to be two that will be released as with separate privy marks for the New Orleans Mint and the Carson City Mint, each of those two that were released for pre-ordering on the 24th of May had a product limit, if you believe the website, or a mintage limit of 175,000 each. And though that is considered probably a small number, in the grand scheme of things compared to other silver collector coins out there, that's a lot of coins. That's a heck of a lot of coins. But because of what they are, and because the United States Mint is involved, and it's a coin that's highly collectible and highly desirable, there was a lot of demand for these as collector coins. And what is the main crux of value? It's demand. Demand is what trumps all, pun intended, considering that Trump is the one that signed the law for this. And so therefore, they have this product limit of 175,000, not even fully publishing a mintage limit, and this thing sold out in a matter, well, it almost sold out. We don't know the full numbers yet. Those numbers have not been released. In fact, there has been some throttling because on subsequent mornings, people were able to buy some of these coins. And you still may be able to. I don't know. And then they made their announcement. And then they tied it to the silver shortage. And they didn't really fully explain what that silver shortage means, because there is no shortage of actual silver. There's just a shortage of the products that we consume as, quote, investors or hedgers with the precious metal. In other words, getting the most popular bullion products out there has proven to be quite difficult. But what are the bullion dealers doing? They are accumulating more, and they're being manufactured as fast as they can, and then they're being sold as quickly as they can. That's the squeeze. We're seeing a squeeze on that, and we're paying for it with higher premiums. Now, these premiums on these coins are quite astronomical, and taking into account the mintage, but people are paying them, and on the secondary market, you're seeing these things sell on eBay for astronomical prices. And of course, they won't be delivered until October. So why would they give such high numbers that is not limited or not spelled out in the legislation? Not only are those numbers very high, in my view, $175,000, but they are broken up by these privy marks and by the mint marks. There's going to be a Philadelphia minted Morgan dollar. There's going to be a Denver minted Morgan dollar as well. And so all these different mint marks and variations of these, plus the number that are going to be produced for each one of those, and then 200,000 of the peace dollar, what gives with that? If there was this great shortage and big trouble finding and securing these planchets, why would you publish so many of them? Why would you make the mintage numbers and the product numbers so high? I don't understand it. Unless they're anticipating that they will be able to fulfill, or confident that they will be able to fulfill that demand. And so, as they reassess this whole process, I don't think it was right for them, and I think it was disingenuous of them to use this global silver shortage as an excuse and conflate that with the real problem, and that is handling their orders and the website problems that they're procuring. Because there's this great span of time between the time that you order the coins and the time that they ship out. That's months they have to prepare for this under the law. What they could have done is just, you set a window of time and you order from within that window. Of course, they did have that, but they also are limiting the number at the outset. They did from 25 to 10. They should have gone much lower than that, in my view. But I don't think this silver squeeze or this silver shortage excuse should have been utilized in their statement. But nonetheless, it is what it is. It certainly is controversial. It has excited the community, the collector community, the YouTube community, and now it's involving the stacking community, because if the U.S. Mint says silver shortage, it's going to make people think, and I think wrongly, that there's this big, massive silver shortage out there, when it's really just a shortage of the products, of retail products, and only temporarily, until at such a time when they can get more blanks. Now, how does U.S. Mint secure blanks for collector pieces? I know it's been said, I think Son of a Silver Stacker said that they have to get it at spot price, but I don't know how that actually works and what the mandate and the contract say, because if that's the case, then some of these suppliers, they are probably required under the contract to supply a certain amount based off of the demand that they need for collectors to get it at, quote, spot price. And what is the fee that they get in order to do that? What are they paid in order to provide it for that? Because these contractors cannot lose money when they produce these blanks for the United States Mint. They have to make money too. So that whole process is interesting if that's the case. I would be very curious to see how that plays out. Nonetheless, there you have it. I'm very frustrated with the U.S. Mint. I'm sure many of you are as well too. And I hope that they can fix this fiasco, because those of us who are collectors of these, well, we're left hanging on the balance of when these things are going to be made available again and how they're going to be made available. It'll be very interesting to see how it plays out. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, but I'm not buying this silver shortage excuse. A multitude of gratitude to you all for taking the time to watch this video, and encourage you to please rate, share, comment, and subscribe.